All right, we're live. What's up, party people? It's Sunny Ray for the Sunny Ray Show. Thanks to our sponsors, Raz Rocket. Today I'm joined by Wayne Baker. He's calling in from Quebec. Guy from Vancouver. Wayne, how's life today?
Life is really good. It's a little cold out here. Like you said, I'm from Vancouver, so I had to get used to this weather out here. But I'm getting used to it after living here for almost 9 years now.
So Wayne, I'm pretty sure people are curious. We're gonna actually people are probably just strolling in, but you wanted to tell me a little bit about what on earth our title means. So you were a lacrosse champion?
Okay, yeah. So I grew up
Well,
in
tell us
Vancouver.
your story. Yeah, go ahead.
I grew up in Vancouver, and I got into lacrosse when I was probably about 11 years old, and then and I just fell in love with the game. You know how it is. You find a sport, you just fall in love with it, and it felt like your game. And my dad actually said to me one time we were doing something, and he said, "You guys better make a choice. It's baseball or lacrosse." And we just went, lacrosse. So, anyways, I look back and said, maybe I should have played baseball. There was a lot of money in baseball. But, anyways, I played lacrosse and I loved the game. And then I got into juniors, seniors. And then in the senior level, I actually started playing at the highest level of lacrosse and won 4 Canadian championships, one in 85, one in 93, one in 99, and one in 2001. So that was kind of my highlight of my career playing lacrosse. And then, yeah, so it was very fun and exciting because lacrosse to me it was kind of, it helped me get through the drugs and alcohol. And when I was really doing a lot of drinking and partying back in the day, and when I was probably about 25, and my lacrosse was starting to go downhill. I wasn't playing up to what I used to be, was capable of playing. So I made a decision. I said to myself, I looked in the mirror, I said, I'm better than this. So I woke up and then decided to quit the boozing and the party. And then I kept on playing lacrosse to the highest level, right up to when I was 43 years old.
That's impressive. Not every day you meet, people playing sports at that caliber. So Wayne, I was reading about your past. You grew up, like you said, in North Shore in West Vancouver as a member of the Squamish Nation. Can you paint a picture for us what childhood looked like? Like, what was the daily life growing up in that community?
Well, I was pretty lucky. I grew up on the waterfront across Stanley Park. So I was always on the beach. We were always on the beach fishing. And we just had a really good childhood down there. Like we wandered all over the place. We had orchards, wild cherries, plums, apples, and I grew up there till I was about 11 years old. So that was a small community. Maybe 5 families lived down there in the waterfront, and then we moved up to Upper Capilano, they call it, and that's where I started. As soon as I moved up there, that's where I learned this. I got into lacrosse. I started meeting more of my cousins and relatives. And the other thing is,
Mhm.
our favorite our favorite pastime back then was going to movies. So we would catch the bus over to Vancouver and watch all the matinee movies. Like not one, we'd want the early one and then the later one. So we try to hit 2 movies at a time.
And I was also reading about your background, and I heard that those movies that you used to watch with your aunt, you rarely saw, people like you on them, right? And
Yes.
can you talk about that?
Well, now I was watching a lot of movies that like we were always depicted as the warriors, the killers, and always getting shot off horses and called savages eh, so it was kind of embarrassing, right? Watching that, and then you become your heroes become the other guys, John Wayne and all those other guys, right? And you're like, and then we never had any heroes in the native film industry until later on. I think the first one that was really that hit home was probably Little Big Man. with Chief Dan George, and it showed a different side of the Native community, the Native human side, their culture. So that's where I think it changed. And then, of course, Dances with Wolves came along. And then finally I started looking at it and said, that's when I started thinking about getting into acting. So maybe my chances are going to be pretty good here because there's not too many actors at my age that are Native American. So, and if it was non-native guys, there's one guy, but there's thousands of them that are auditioning for that one role. So I figured, I'm going to get into this. I'll see if I can get into this, and that's when I started. The seed was planted, and it.
That's quite a quite a story. That's crazy. So I was gonna say, so you also, I think I was reading, you've won is it the President's Cup 4
That's the
times?
that's the President's Cup in lacrosse. Yeah, 4 of them. I
What is
think I played in about I think it was 8, and it's a tough tournament. It's not you don't get a day off. So you fly in Thursday, usually you'll play Thursday, you play Friday, you play Saturday, and sometimes 2 games in one day on a Sunday, and then Monday would be the finals.
And not to mention, lacrosse is a very difficult game. It's
Uh,
very physical. It takes a tremendous amount of endurance, and but I'm just curious, like, what did it take to play at that level?
well, like I said, we have to be like this. I relate this. My analogy is lacrosse and acting are almost the same. So the training for lacrosse is I no drinking, no smoking. I don't do drugs, and so I did a lot of running on hills in Vancouver, mountains, up a logging road. So I didn't really weight train. I didn't weight train. I just ran a lot and did my running and getting my wind, so I could run on the floor forever. And that was my goal, and it worked. So I did that every summer, and I played till, like I said, 43 was my last really high uh, level I could play. So when I got into acting, I kind of felt it was the same way. Like, hey, this might be the same now. My lacrosse career is over because I started acting at 39, and my lacrosse ended at 43. So I was trying to find another, something that could fill that void because you love the game, and then you're in the dressing room, you're getting ready for the big game, and you're getting the butterflies, and then you're ready to go play. Whistle blows, and then they go away. You start running, but and then when you're in acting, it's the same way. You're in the dressing room, you're getting ready, you're getting nervous. Of course, you get nervous. Your butterflies are coming. Then you get down to set, and there's your actors, there's the stars, there's the co-stars, stars, and they're just like all like players. And then you got your coach as the director, and all the management around and everything else. So then once you get on behind the screen, sure you're nervous, but once you start rolling, then you connect with your other fellow actors or actors, and then everything else around you just kind of disappears, and you start playing.
Hmm. And Wayne, as well, you were landing roles, I think, with Da Vinci's Inquest, North of 60. What were those early experiences like, stepping onto, just a professional set? Just going back to what you shared about your kid, seeing these movies and almost filling that void that you saw.
Well, I have a good story about North of 60 because I was watching North of 60, and that's when I said to myself, I was watching the actors, and I said, I could do that. So I said to myself, well, how do I go about it? So I started taking acting lessons in Vancouver, and I realized, hey, I'm not too bad at this. So then I got an agent, and then a year later, I was on North of 60, my first show. So it shows you if you want to do it, you can do it.
Do you believe in visualization, goal setting, things like that? Like, has that played a big part in your role?
Yeah, I think it does. You see yourself. And I see myself being one of those native actors that are up there that are telling the stories, like replacing the older guys that are gone now, and then now it's my turn to come in and tell these stories. So yeah, I do kind of visualize it. I always said I want to be up there accepting an Academy Award. We all as actors, we always think about that and dream, and then okay, what would I say? And then we have some kind of speech that we're ready for when we get up there.
And then you had a supporting lead in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. What did that experience do for you, and how did that change you?
What was that? I'm glad you brought that one. That was one of the toughest ones because when I got there, I was supposed to sing this song, and then they gave me a DVD or whatever it was, a recording, and I listened to it. And I'm listening to it, and it was called "Jesus, Lover of My Soul," and it was it was sort of like a hip hop version. And I'm like, what is this? I can't sing this. So I'm on set now. I mean, I had the verse and I was learning it, but when I got the set, I was just you could people would say, "What's wrong, Wayne? You look down. What's up?" Because I still had no idea how to sing the song, and my next scene was going to be singing the song, and I was nervous. I was like freaking out, and I was sitting there waiting, and there was this outside in the tent scene, and I looked at this lady. She was an old Lakota. She was kind of the teacher of the language. So by chance, I asked her. I said, "Do you know the song Jesus, Lover of My Soul?" And she goes, "Yeah, I know that song. It goes like this." And she started singing it. Jesus, lover of my, and I got the hymn and I said, "That's it. Thank you." Oh, that was like a big relief that went off my shoulder again. And I did my scene and I jumped on the wagon. We rode out and I sang that song. So I got, that was one of the, and then after that, they had another song I was supposed to sing. It was a Sue Strongheart song. And they said, "Oh, yeah," because then I had to go home to Vancouver. And they said, "We'll send it to you. Then you'll get it and learn it." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. They're not going to send it to me." So I learned my own song in my head. So this time I was prepared. So I got my own song in my head. And of course, they didn't send it to me. I show up on set and they say, "Oh, here's your song." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I go to my room, I put it in my recording, and I listen to it. And there's no way I could learn that song in one night. So I threw it down as to hell with this. I'm singing my own song. So I get the set, and the director goes, "All right, let's hear your song, Wayne." So I did my song, and then he goes, "All right, let's shoot it." They didn't have a clue. So I did my own song on there. So yeah, that was a big experience there, and I learned a lot from that shooting that HBO series.
That's fascinating. So let's maybe talk about what's happening right now. You're in HBO's, is it or IT? Welcome to Derry.
Yes, Welcome to Derry. We shot that almost 2 years ago now, and it just aired last 3 weeks ago now. So I
What was
got on
that? What was that
three
like?
three
Yeah.
episodes,
Hmm.
and I just played a chief, and it was fun. I mean, I didn't get to see all the big stars because our cast were all Native American, and we were all set about meeting and talking about it and how to control it because the main cast, the natives, were the keepers of it. So it was fun. Like I got to go up to Toronto, so I was hoping season 2 I can get on there. That's coming up.
Cool, cool. And then let's talk about your new feature film, Capitaine, is it? Just came out
Yes,
in January. You play the lead, a former Canadian Navy gunner turned offshore fisherman. Talk to me about this. This sounds exciting.
that was my biggest role. So I've moved up the ladder. Now I got my first lead. So I've shot that. We shot that in northern Quebec, and 19 days I was on it, 20 days, and I had to learn their language, the Inuman language. And I had a lot of Zoom meetings over the period of a month, learning the language, writing it down phonetically, and listening to the recordings, and then getting there, and kind of just left the small stuff aside, but concentrated on one scene that was all Inuman. So they left that for the last day, and it worked out. I did it and had a great time there, meeting different people. But and then now it's airing in Quebec right now, and then it goes to a film festival in San Jose in March, and then the Vancouver, it'll be opening in Toronto and everywhere else soon in Canada.
Hey Wayne, do you think about AI much at all?
About what?
AI.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah,
I mean,
I
I'm
watch.
just curious because I don't meet people from Hollywood every day, but there is this narrative that in the future we'll have AI actors and people are already whipping up these like virtual things. I mean, do you think that misses the plot in some way, pun intended?
I think it does because that's why we went on strike. Because I'm a SAG actor too, so
Mm.
we had to miss. I was on my way to Toronto to film Welcome to Derry 2 days prior, and then I get the call, we're on strike. So I didn't go back to work till 9 months later for the next episode. But that was in one of the main issues was the AI. So yeah, we all voted against it.
Interesting. So you've been described as both an actor and as an advocate, someone whose mission is to share stories that bridge cultures and celebrate Indigenous identity. So when you choose a project nowadays, what is your filter?
My filter. When I choose a project now, it's kind of because in the beginning, you read it and you look at it and you say, okay, yeah, this is a good guy. This is tells a good story. I don't play bad guys, or I'm never really casted for that. I'm always playing a chief or an ambassador or a policeman, a detective. So those are my characters. But I would like to play a bad guy one day because it looks fun, right? And because
Yeah.
there's one guy I know, he's playing a bad guy all the time, and he's like, "Geez, I wish I could play your role." you know, somebody like you, and instead of being a bad guy all the time. So, but these days everything's written very well now for the native actors. They're really concentrating on the culture, the language, and everything. So there was one show I saw, and I looked at it and shit, I'm not gonna read for this, and it was bad. I think it was what the hell was it? Uh, the guy that's for Happy Gilmore. What's that guy? The lead guy. The
Adam Sandler?
Yeah, it was one of his shows. I said, no way, this is not right at all. But anyways, I didn't read for that.
Interesting. Hey, Wayne, I was gonna also ask you. I read that you're a father of seven. Curious, how does your family, influence your work?
Okay, my four boys are in Vancouver. One just turned 18 today, so he's an adult now, and the rest are 20 and 20s and 30s. And out here, I have a younger son that's 13 now, and two stepdaughters that are in their 20s. And one of my daughters out here, I got her into acting now too. She kind of following in the footsteps, but you know how they are when they're young. They just some don't seem to care. They just want to giving it to them, hand it to them on a silver platter. But I did get her on Welcome to Derry. She plays one of the warriors, and then we just did a little SAG short up in Utica, New York, together. So that was fun. And she's starting to get roles now. And my boys, I'm always out there all the time, fishing with them, and one of them's coming out here in April, and he's going to work out here, construction with. I'll probably do a little bit of construction because my background, I was a subcontractor in construction, and he's coming out, and then my youngest one, that turned 16, is probably going to come with him after he graduates. So I'll probably fly out there and pick him up and fly back. And then, yeah.
Fascinating. So, Wayne, you've been, I guess, a champion lacrosse player, a professional fisherman, a TV host, a home builder, and working across 2 decades as a successful actor. If your younger self came up to you and said, "I want to do what you do," what would you tell him? Or let's say a version of your younger self.
First, you got to take it seriously, what you want. It's not, you got to be very professional about it, but don't give up on it. Just take small steps at first to make sure you want it, and then you can handle it. And if you get it, that's more power to you.
And maybe help me land the plane on this note. Where do you want to take your career and your platform from here? What's the story that you haven't told that you're burning to tell others?
There's a story that I kind of written a synopsis for it, but it's I don't want to say too much, but it involves our Native Americans in the West Coast, and it goes back 10,000 years with the Chinese, and then there's a storyline there. But I kind of I want to do that down the road, but at this point, I'm not ready for it. And then my acting career, I want to tell stories about be able to be the actor that tells the stories of the history of the Native Americans, say like Sitting Bull or uh, yeah, Geronimo and Native Americans in Canada, but the more famous ones right now are in the United States. So I just auditioned for a movie shooting in Nebraska, and keeping my fingers crossed on that one because it's a big one.
Well, Wayne, I wanted to thank you for your time. I really appreciate this interview, and I've obviously been watching you as well on TV for so many years. It's been an honor to get to interview you. Wayne, is there any place where you would like to share in terms of, I don't know, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube? Do you post your personal
Just on
perspectives on a
Facebook,
blog?
just
Facebook?
Facebook and Instagram.
Perfect. Perfect. So people can check you out there,
Yep.
and anything that I don't know, maybe you would wished I would have asked. Did I miss anything?
There's so many stories I could tell, but it could go on forever. But yeah. What else was it? Oh, I did Bon Cop, Bad Cop too out here in Quebec. It's a series coming up. We finished that in May, June. It'll be 6 episodes on Crave, and then
So
I
you, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
and then I did a feature film, Villeneuve, Gilles Villeneuve's story about him, Gilles Villeneuve, the famous Canadian car racer.
Yeah, no, I actually did have a question about Bon Cop, Bad Cop. So, I believe that's premiering this year. Has it already premiered? No, not yet,
No,
right?
it'll be out, I think around April. Geez, I think this summer for sure.
So
Or
Wayne,
fall.
it sounds like me. You're in one of the busiest and most exciting stretches of your career. Does this moment feel different from earlier chapters?
Yes, it does because it really started taking off after 2021 more because I was always just getting these roles and I kept saying, why ain't I getting these roles? I'm getting pissed off. And then finally I got the role in Italy, The Swarm. Then it went boom and went NCIS, boom, and it went the Autumn in a Black Jaguar, and then I went to Sitting Bull. Then it went to the movie I did, the Western in Arizona called The War Between. And I just came back from Tombstone for that film festival. And then I went to Welcome to Derry, and then I went to everything started taking off in the last 5 years.
So overnight success, 20 years in the making type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wade, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you all for tuning in. Until
Okay.
next time. Cheers.
All right. Thank you.